written in voice, a voice resting close to the heart. New episodes every Sunday, and perhaps, just perhaps, a single word might spark a little light. Hi, and welcome. This is the first episode I'm recording in English, so let me introduce myself. My name is Written in Voice. I'm a bilingual podcaster, singer, and writer. And I create this series to explore what I call true emotions. Not performative ones, not social masks, but real emotions, the ones we're often told to hide. I was a French translator for a very long time, so language has always mattered to me, and now voice does too. Many of my followers speak English and don't understand French, so I've decided to record some episodes in English so they can finally know what I've been going on about all this time. This episode is about age, and how some people seem to think you disappear when you turn 50. Like you've started to fade away. Like the world has quietly decided you've had your time. As if nothing new can come from you. No insight, no spark, no drive. Well, that's not how I see it. I'm 57. I record voiceovers. I train artificial intelligence. I create videos. I host a podcast. I'm active on TikTok, on YouTube. I live with technology and I create with it. People sometimes ask me if I've ever used a computer, and I just smile. And yes, I also know how to use a smartphone. My parents do too, by the way. Aging means discovering the body in a new light, and sometimes discovering a new version of yourself. I belong to a transitional generation, the last to grow up without the internet, the last to remember silence. We've seen the world shift from rotary phones to smartphones, from paper letters to disappearing stories. We started with typewriters, first manual, then electric. We used Tipex. We dialed numbers for memory. We used encyclopedias. And we adapted. We come from a world without GPS, without emails, without selfies, a world of real books. You know, those little paper things with tiny black filaments that sometimes manage to change your life. We were taught to observe, to wait, to listen. We didn't post. We remembered. And then, one day, we were told we were too old. Aging became an insult. The word old replaced the person. It wasn't an older person, it was a senior. Eventually just a burden. It puts you into a convenient drawer, so no one has to listen anymore. And it starts early. Do you remember the series or film Logan's Run? The one where people lived in a peaceful, clean, hedonistic world until they turned 30. Then came the ceremony, which was more like a ritualized spectacle, and they were gone. No one ever questioned it, because youth was everything, and past 30, you were past relevance. That fiction is starting to look like real life. We've created a culture where youth is the currency and age is the tax. But youth without depth is as empty as dismissing someone older for having too much of it. We say people are too sensitive, but we mean too human. We call people difficult when they refuse to be reduced. We say boomer as an insult, as if forgetting we'll all get there eventually. Or we won't. Because aging isn't guaranteed. It's not something you suffer, it's something you earn. There's something violent about the way we erase people. We erase the quiet knowledge, the slow burn, the scars that took years to understand. We pretend people get bitter with age. Maybe they just get tired of not being heard. This episode is not about making age look glamorous. It's not. It hurts. It slows. It bends. But it also sharpens. It burns what no longer matters. It asks better questions. And if you're lucky, it gives you better answers. I don't want to be labelled. And I don't want to be flattered either, because both are just ways of not seeing clearly. I'd rather be seen as someone who still questions, still creates, still evolves. Call me what you want, but know that I'm still becoming. Perhaps it's time we redefined what it means to grow older. Not as a decline, but as an unveiling. Virginia Woolf once wrote, "I am rooted, but I flow." That's how I feel. Firmly grounded in what I've lived, but never fixed. Still moving, still changing, still flowing. And then there is this by Carl Jung. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Maybe that's what age is for. To stop pretending. To come home to yourself. To shed the layers that never belonged to you. The ones you wrote to please, to fit in, to survive. Age is not a punishment. It's a form of freedom. A freedom we've earned, one wrinkle at a time. We need to stop apologizing for getting older, for not being smooth or silent or compliant. We're not meant to disappear. We're meant to emerge. And maybe the real question is not, how old are you? But how true are you now? Because youth fades, but truth doesn't. It sharpens. And if you're still listening, then maybe you already know you haven't vanished. You've arrived. Fully. And while we're at it, let's talk about visibility, because sometimes what people call invisible is actually just ignored. And what they call irrelevant is what they're too impatient to understand. There's a strange comfort in pretending that only the new has value. It makes everything faster, easier, disposable. But wisdom isn't fast. It doesn't shout. It waits. And it's not something you find in a headline or a viral reel. It's in the long silence after something breaks. It's in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. We've been sold a story where being older means being out of touch. But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we're the ones finally in touch with something deeper, more lasting. We know the cost of pretending. We've seen what happens when you silence your truth for too long. And no, we don't have all the answers, but we've started asking better questions, and that's where it begins. So if you're listening, no matter your age, don't wait to be invited. You are not a guest in your own life. Take your place, not by shouting, but by standing softly, solidly in what you know to be true. Because in a world that moves too fast, being grounded is radical, and being real is revolutionary.